Hello and welcome. I am Luna
And I'm Nick.
and we are the Nomad Citello. And every month we bring you the news from Venice to help you plan your next trip to Venice. So, this month we're going to talk about March, which, which is not very eventful in terms of things happening in Venice, but we got a lot of very interesting questions. So, we're going to delve into those in the last session. So let's go ahead and see what's on the menu for today. So we're going to talk about Reyer, the basketball team in Venice, which is the equivalent, you would say, of our NBA, but we will delve into that later. Uh, there are a lot of interesting exhibits going on in March in Venice. Then we're going to talk about night public transport, which was one of your questions, and then we will see more questions from our videos. If you have other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We are monitoring the chat as we speak, and we will answer at the best of our abilities about all your questions regarding Venice.
So Carnival finished in February,
It's finishing actually Tuesday. Now it's February 15th today. So it's finishing on February 17th. Yeah.
okay? So no more Carnival in March.
No more Carnival in March. Exactly. Okay, so Reyer is the local basketball team.
There's no sound.
Oh no. Oh no. Let me.
We're in case you can hear us, somebody from our from the chat told us that there's no sound.
Hello, hello. Let us know because now it seems like it should be working.
And they hear us now.
Okay.
Thanks for letting us know on the
Yeah.
chat.
Thank you so much. As I was saying, Reyer is the local basketball team in Venice. It's historical because it was founded in 1872 and it entails all sorts of teams, the men's team, the women's team, the kids team. So there are all different teams playing.
So what's the league?
It's Serie A, which is the major league in basketball. It's the equivalent, as I was saying, of NBA, but don't expect
Sure,
the
sure.
same level of show that you have with the NBA. They are playing the championship at the moment until May. I think the championship goes on, and then there will be the finals in between May and June. And they are also playing the European Cup. So there are tickets available for both the Championship and the European Cup, and they go up to 35 euros. So it's very cheap.
And this stadium is literally in Venice.
It's not anymore.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it
I'm glad I asked.
historically they used to play at the Arsenale actually, but nowadays they play at the Taliercio Arena, which is in Mestre.
Okay.
So it's a short ride to the arena, and there's a free shuttle if you have a ticket for a game. You can take the shuttle from Piazzale Roma, the bus hub, to the Taliercio Palasport Arena in
And
Mestre.
if you're not familiar with Mestre, it's not in the city, it's the mainland. But it's extremely close. A lot of
Yeah,
people stay in a hotel in Mestre and go
yeah,
into the city
exactly.
for their tours.
And if you're staying in Mestre, it's a nice
So you
walk
know.
or a tram ride away to get to the arena. And it's really family friendly, so it's a very relaxed atmosphere. There's a big, enthusiastic audience, especially for the men's team, as usually happens. And so it could be a very nice way of spending one night in Venice if you have the chance. Okay, let's see what exhibits we have going on in March. Etruschi e Veneti, Acque, Culti e Santuari. It's an exhibit about the Etruscan forms and expressions of worship connected with water. It's inside of Palazzo Ducale, the Doge Palace, from March 6th to September 29th. So when you buy the ticket for the Doge Palace, you will have this exhibit included in it.
So if you're not familiar with the Doge Palace, the Doge was the elected ruler of the Venetian Empire historically. The top picture that you're seeing here is the palace, one of the main tourist attractions right there in Piazza San Marco.
Mhm.
Definitely worth a visit, whether you're going to see the Etruscan exhibit or not.
Absolutely. Then there is an interesting movie exhibit, Classici fuori mostra. These are classic movies that have been recently restored that will be introduced by an expert and will have a Q&A session to follow. They are shown in their original language with Italian subtitles every Wednesday at 7 p.m. at the Rossini Cinema in Venice, which is in the city of Venice. Uh,
Do you know any of the movies?
I read the titles and I don't know any of them.
Okay,
So
fair enough.
I have to admit, they are pretty obscure movies, at least for my knowledge. But you will find the link in the description if you're interested in seeing all the program of the festival. Okay. Mm, Now, let's talk about the Fondazione Querini Stampalia uh, in Santa Maria Formosa, which is the second picture you see here. It's a beautiful building, worth the visit just for seeing the architecture. This foundation has recurrent exhibits of different artists. In this case, there's a Gabriel Bella exhibit. He's not very well known, but he has some paintings that are stunning because they are authentic views of 1700 Venice and of the daily life of Venice. So you should really check it out. It's pretty beautiful to see. And great news for art lovers everywhere, because the MUVEC Contemporary Art Museum is about to open in Mestre. It will be a space for permanent and temporary exhibitions of contemporary art in the center of Mestre, in the Candiani Square, which is just by the main square, the Ferretto Square in Mestre.
Do we know what's been removed or replaced in Candiani?
This used to be the cultural center, which was inside where the movie theater is.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And it's been renovated to be a permanent contemporary art museum. So it's
Okay.
pretty exciting.
I do see your questions. We'll take some questions in just a moment, but thanks for sending those in. Feel free to put more questions in the chat. We're just
Absolutely.
about to get over to those.
All right. Let's talk about night public transport in Venice. Is there night public transport? The answer is yes. Kind of. Let's see. So there are night water buses, vaporetto, and buses, and they are marked by the letter N for night. So they are not as frequent as during the day, but the buses, for example, run until 4 or 5 a.m., so they are pretty long into the night, and then at 4 5 a.m., usually some of the regular bus routes start, so you're never left stranded, let's say. There are no night trains stopping at Venice station. There are no night airport buses, very important, and there is no night service for Ali Laguna, the private company that has water transportation to the airport. So, how do you get to the airport?
It's an important question because if you're traveling west towards the United States, you often are taking a very early flight out of Venice.
Yeah.
Several times we've had to book an Uber or a taxi at 4 a.m. so that
Mhm.
we could get to the airport for a 6 a.m. flight.
Yes, and there are very convenient hotels next to the airport that have shuttle service to the airport, so you might consider that. And I've heard rumors on the internet of the sleep capsules that are present in other airports, even in Italy, and they might be soon available at the Venice airport. If you're not familiar with it, it's literally capsules, like single room sized capsules inside the airport that you can book for a night or for a few hours, and you can get to the airport and spend your night there, and yeah, and you're already there, basically.
That would be great.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
the biggest airport, so I'm curious where those
right.
would go, but that would be great to have.
Yeah. And in general, yeah, be familiar with what your stop is and check the last departure and the last arrival at your stop, and be ready to either walk if you're in Venice downtown, or call an Uber, as we said, to get to your hotel outside of Venice.
We've had that experience multiple times,
Yeah,
walking through a completely empty city at 4 a.m., which is still night, and going to Piazza alla Roma to get the
yeah,
Uber
yeah.
in a place that is always crowded, but at that time, it's
Yeah, and it's surprisingly crowded with workers at that time, which is always surprising. Like there are a lot of people opening up their shops or going to work and walking down the street. So it's charming more than any other time in Venice. Okay, so do we want to do the questions in the chat, the question here?
Let's take a question that we just got in about staying in an Airbnb and taking out your own trash. And
Oh,
in
interesting.
Venice, like in any other place, if you're staying in an Airbnb, you'll be responsible for your own trash.
Hmm.
But the trash collection works differently in Venice than most other places, at least that I've seen.
Hmm.
There's clearly no truck that drives around and picks up bins.
Okay,
So I'll try to say what happens, and
go ahead.
you can certainly correct me. Um, your Airbnb host should give you a list of days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, to tell you which days the normal trash goes out and which days the recycling. There's a separate recycling for glass and plastic, and then there's one for paper. So three different classes of garbage, and you can literally just put it outside the front door in the morning. And this did quite catch me off guard.
Put it outside the door. Yes and no, depends
Okay, the
on the
neighborhood.
area. Yeah.
And that's another thing. You should have some guide, some information from your
Yeah.
Airbnb host to tell you how to handle it.
Hmm.
And in a lot of cases, it is simply put it outside the door. And the one thing that caught me off guard is there are people who go and collect the garbage. They roll a bin through the streets, and they will ring every door on the street as they pass. So me as a stranger staying in a strange place in an Airbnb for the first time in Venice, I would hear the doorbell ring nearly every morning and
Hmm.
didn't know what it was, and you can just ignore it. It's just a reminder, hey, we're collecting the trash. If you haven't put it out, bring it out right now.
Hmm.
There's probably certain hours that are listed from your Airbnb host to let you know, put it out between, 5 and 7. I don't know, depends on the location. If you do not have the ability to put it in front of the door, the other interesting thing is that there are garbage collection boats that are in strategic locations, and they'll park in the canal in the morning between what, 7 a.m. to 11,
Yeah,
somewhere around
something
there,
like that.
something like that, just in the morning. So if you're going out for a morning coffee or something, just take your bag of trash. Your Airbnb host should tell you where the closest boat is, and drop it off there. And
Hmm.
chances are you'll see people walking around with those carts, and you can just drop it there as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
But as far as I know, Airbnbs in Venice, you are responsible for your own garbage, and your
Hmm.
host should give you the particulars based on what we just talked about.
Yes, which makes it a little awkward and complicated at checkout, because as we were saying, if your flight is at 6 a.m. and it's, I don't know, paper collection day, uh, you don't have anybody collecting the paper the day before or the day off because it's too early. So unfortunately, we are in a privileged position because I have family living nearby, so I can just take the trash to their house and I'm done. But um,
I would suggest talk to your Airbnb host.
right,
You can say, we leave on Wednesday. We can't do the trash pickup that day. Is it okay to leave it there? I'm not telling you it's okay. I'm saying talk to your
yeah,
Airbnb host
yeah,
and see if they can
exactly.
arrange something.
Exactly, because usually they have cleaning ladies coming after your stay, and so they can take care of the leftover garbage. But it's always a good idea to talk to them. One thing about the fact of leaving the garbage outside is the problem with the seagulls that we have mentioned before. Usually, they discourage leaving the garbage outside because the seagulls will get to that. So, in general, it's better to wait for the doorbell ring so you know that garbage collectors are right outside and they are going to collect the garbage.
And that also means if you are in a position to leave it outside the front door, you can't leave it overnight. It
Yeah,
will be attacked by animals.
yeah,
Um, so you do want to at least take it out in the morning shortly before you
mhm,
know they're coming.
exactly.
We do have another question
Okay.
about the Ali Laguna. Does the Ali Lagoon, this is from Johan, who just posted a message,
Mm,
is Ali Laguna generally on time? This would be the shuttle service to and from the airport, from the
mhm,
city to the airport. Generally, my experience is that they're on time, on the scheduled, the schedules that are posted. The one thing I did experience recently, there are different routes identified by color, orange line, blue line. I don't remember all four. But there was a time when one of the routes was not running when I arrived at the airport, and the reason was it was a day when there was high water, and
we can talk about that. Yeah.
they have some routes that are closed to them when the water is unusually high or low, particularly low. The Ali Laguna boats can't get somewhere.
Hmm.
So one thing you may experience from the airport is that one of the routes is
Yeah.
shut down, but then you just take one of the other routes and can get pretty close to where you're going.
Hmm.
Uh, I I I don't think I've ever seen that leaving the city, but I guess it's possible. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe they've got a website where you can check and confirm.
Yeah, it's tough because it was the last point that you see here in my Q&A when a heavy fog or aqua alta happens or low tide, as you were saying. There are disruptions to the transportation in general because the regular water buses also are suspended sometimes. And I had a friend recently who had a whole tour of San Giorgio planned just the other day, and she had to change her plans because Acqua Alta wouldn't allow water buses to go to the islands because that's the problem.
Hmm.
It's Giudecca and Lido that are affected, and Murano, Burano, Torcello that are affected by disruptions when Acqua Alta is happening. And sometimes even in the city proper, there could be disruptions due to fog, especially, of course, in the autumn and winter. So it really depends. Like you can get to the stop and find out that the line is suspended for that day because it's such a like a day off kind of problem that is really hard
Mhm.
to have advanced notifications about that, unfortunately.
I think it brings up a great question, and a question I'd love to be able to answer. I'm not sure I can until we're there next time. How do we know in advance if one of the Ali Laguna routes is stopped? And I don't know if their website has the information. I think what I would like to do the next time I'm at the airport is I want to stop at one of those ticket booths and ask them, is there a warning system? Is there a way of knowing? Of course, we can talk about that here on this channel, but not until I'm at the airport again. We'll look into the website and see if there's anything on the website. Um,
Yeah, it's possible. Again, it's such a last minute kind of thing that it's more likely that you will get to the stop and find out, ooh, my line is not working today.
mhm.
So you will have to uh, restudy your plan.
But in all the times we've been in and out, it's never been a
Yeah,
problem. It's never been disruptive. I've
yeah,
only
it's
seen
very
a
rare.
line closed once, and every other time it's been completely on time and
Yeah.
reliable.
Also consider that in the specific case of Ali Laguna, their boats are shorter, let's say, so they have very few problems with Acqua Alta because they can go up to a higher level than a regular Vaporetto. So it's very rare, especially for Ali Laguna, to be
Mhm.
disrupted
And
by.
and great question from Johan. What do we know about May? May, I don't think we don't particularly get high water in May. We don't have huge shifts, or am I wrong?
Usually no, we don't have Acqua Alta disruption in May, except I remember at least a couple of years where there were some exceptional days of Acqua Alta, but it's very rare, so it shouldn't be the case.
I would expect more of that around November.
Yeah,
But again, not
from
hearing
November
anything.
to March usually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. We got a question that was, can I ride public transport with a QR code? Now, the answer is it depends. Where did you get your QR code? So first of all, I would always advise to follow the instructions that you get when purchasing the ticket, of course. If you purchased your ticket on WhatsApp, you will get a QR code that is valid for riding. So check out our video on how to use the new validating machines. But there's a button you can push for a QR code, and then they will scan the QR code, and you're good to go. In any other cases, I think you have to convert your QR code into an actual ticket. For example, if you go on the Venezia Unica website and buy the ticket in advance, you will be given a QR code, and then you take that QR code to a ticket vending machine or to a ticket office, and they will print the actual ticket that you will use from then on. But in general, because I know you can get tickets on Get Your Guide, I don't know how that works. I'm assuming they will give you a QR code that then you convert to a regular ticket, but I'm not sure. So read carefully the terms and conditions of the website where you're purchasing your ticket.
We've done some videos on, checking in and out of the Vaporetto, scanning your tickets, etc. And we found when they first started rolling out, you'll see that there are QR readers at the Vaporetto stations. When they first started rolling that out, it wasn't really reliable, and we had a hard time figuring out when it would or wouldn't work. Our personal conclusion was whenever we're buying a ticket, if there's an option for a QR code or something else, we're going to get the something else. Because scanning the traditional tickets, we know that works. I would not be surprised if we're having this conversation in a year and we're saying that the QR codes are perfect. But right now, I'm just not confident about it. It's still new, it's still rolling out.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Then we got a comment about getting directions to a specific bed and breakfast in Venice. Now, as I was mentioning in my reply, Google Maps is driving me crazy these days because I think it's due to the time zone difference, and you will encounter this problem as well. So when you go and look for directions, Google Maps doesn't understand that, yes, it's night in Italy, but it's day where I am. So give me directions for a reasonable time of day in Italy. It will not work. In this case, it did work. So we are getting directions from Venezia Santa Lucia to a specific bed and breakfast near Fondamente Nove. So you can see the different options. And again, it changed now the directions because the time has changed. But anyway, it says to take the 5.2 to Fondamente 9. And I wanted to highlight something because sometimes Google will give you a specific dock where to
Mhm.
where to stop. So you see there's Fondamente 9A, Fondamente 9B, D, C. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day when you get a route that gets you to Fondamente 9, or for example, Ferrovia is another, the station is another one with multiple docks. It doesn't really matter which dock you end up because it's a short walk to your destination anyway.
And if you're arriving by Vaporetto, who cares, right?
Yeah,
You only care if you're departing from the Vaporetto.
exactly.
So you would get yourself to Fondamente Nove, then identify which of the platforms is the right one for the boat you need to get on.
Exactly. And in this specific case, for example, the 5.1, 4.1, 5.2, and 4.2 are circular lines. So that's the good news. So if you end up on the wrong boat, you will eventually get to your destination because it's a circular line. So don't worry about that. And if Google Maps is driving you crazy, we talked about this app before, and I really want to stress how much better this is. It's called Che Batteo, which boat in Venetian, and it gives you the same kind of information, but it's much more accurate and much more linear mm, in the way it's displayed. So you would choose, and there you go. You would choose the starting point and the destination, and it gives you all the options at the time that you prefer.
Can we go back to the route you're looking at?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we're talking about getting to Fondamente Nove, which is one of the bigger
Yeah.
Vaporetto stops.
Mhm.
But then you would still have to get to your Airbnb.
Yes.
And I assume you did this because somebody had an Airbnb that's
Yep.
generally in that area.
Which is right here.
So you choose the station that is closest to your
Yeah,
Airbnb,
exactly.
and then you
Yeah,
walk from
and
there.
on Google Maps, you can put directly the bed and breakfast as your destination, and it will give you automatically it should give you automatically the closest stop to your destination. And very often you will see that it insists on giving you walking directions because it's often easier and quicker to walk, of course, unless you have lots of luggage to
Yeah, and I
drive
wanted to
along.
talk about that
Yeah.
too. If we could look at the wider view again. If you do get directions like this on Google Maps, this is a great case because which of these three routes do I choose?
Mhm.
There's really good reasons for each one.
Yeah.
The green route that we see that takes us outside of the city along the lagoon is fun because you're seeing the wide open lagoon. You're kind of going outside of the city. And Fondamentânova is an interesting station because it is right there on the edge of the city. You can look out to the lagoon, literally turn in the opposite direction, and walk into some of the thickest part of the city where it's like narrow canals and tall buildings. It's really kind of cool. You feel like you're being almost pushed to the edge into the water. Now, the lower of the two blue routes goes along the Grand Canal.
Mhm.
And this is the most picturesque view because you're going through the most beautiful part of the largest canal, seeing the palazzos and the big houses along the edges of the canal. And I don't know if you don't quite get to Rialto Bridge on this route, but still, the Grand Canal is a very comfortable, beautiful
Right.
route to go.
But also, I would consider again how much luggage are you traveling with? Because in this case, it's 10 minutes of vaporetto and 11 minutes of walking and
Mhm.
going up and down bridges. So
And that was the other thing I was
is
gonna
it
say, that
is it even
third
worth
route
it?
the third route is great because you're literally walking through the city. If you are there with nothing more than a backpack, oh yeah, you wanna walk through the city.
Mhm.
And you might get a little lost, but you've got Google Maps to help you out, you're exploring. If you have two large suitcases that are rolling behind you on the stones, making noise, tiring you out, that's a tedious walk. So three very different routes and three very good reasons to choose them depending on what you're looking
Yeah,
for.
exactly. Um, okay, now there was some perplexity about the 3-day ticket or multiple day ticket for transportation. Do you have to tell when you're purchasing the ticket? Do you have to tell them which day the ticket is starting from? No. Let me show you in practice. We are here on the Venezia Unica website.
This is the transportation company that handles the buses, the
Yeah,
Vaporetto.
and not only that, it handles all the events and now also the access fee. We will talk about that next month. So let's go in order. So you have all the options possible. First of all, you have to add a card, and in here you can literally put whatever name you want. It's not mandatory to have an actual name. It could be John Doe. Then you would go to public transport in Venice, and you see you have different options. And so assign to Luna.
ACTV, that's the Vaporetto, the normal route around the city. Ali
Mhm,
Laguna is the shuttle to and from the airport. Two very different things.
exactly. You would choose the 3-day transport and add it to the cart. Okay, I have it in my cart. I go to checkout, and that's probably what you were hearing about. They ask you your arrival and departure in Venice, and you have to choose the dates. You can choose any dates possible. They just have to confirm that what you are going to buy is valid for those dates. I think this is because of the access fee and the events tickets. So if you're buying a ticket for an event, if you're buying a ticket, I don't know, a special ticket for a weekend exhibit, they have to make sure that you're buying a ticket that is valid on the dates you're traveling to Venice. That's all it is. And then you can proceed to checkout, buy your ticket, and it will be valid the first time you scan it on the validating machine.
So
So,
the 3-day ticket
yeah,
is valid for the 3 days starting when you take your first ride.
yeah, exactly. For 72 hours. So, if you take it at night, it will be valid until the third day at night. So, that's how it works with the 3-day tickets. And then we had an interesting question about the missing stops. So, we were talking last time about the fact that some lines, and I would argue maybe just number one in particular, normally might miss some minor stops
Hmm.
at certain times. How do we know?
So you're saying you've gotten on the Vaporetto, you're planning to get off on Senstai,
Yeah.
and the Vaporetto just blows past Senstai
Mhm,
because there are different routes that hit every single stop and some that just hit the larger stops.
mhm.
But are those not different numbered routes?
Yes,
They are.
exactly. That
Okay.
that was my first answer. So normally, water bus Vaporetto number one is the one that does the whole Grand Canal, every single stop, even the minor ones. Number two would be same route, but only the main stops, for example. So you would know because you literally, if you are at the minor stop, you literally have only one option. You take the number one, and there's no other option to get to
But
where
if
you're
you're
going.
departing from maybe Rialto, you could accidentally get on the wrong boat
Right,
if you're not paying attention to which boat it
right.
is. So if you want the one and a boat comes and it has a sign out front, I don't know, it says 5.1, one of the smaller routes, or maybe two,
Mhm.
you don't want to get on that one if you need to get off on a smaller.
Right.
Yeah.
And the sure proof thing is to just learn the name of your station and just ask it to the sailor, like literally just say the name of the station.
Yes.
Giglio.
Don't worry about speaking Italian.
Translate?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just ask them just that one word,
right.
sense die,
And they
and
will
they'll
say
say
yes or
yes or
no.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And also look at the map of where you're staying, where you have to get off, and find a bigger station. Like, is there some bigger station close to the one where you have to get off? Because worst case scenario, okay, it's missing my station, but oh, okay, the next stop is a 10-minute walk.
But there is a different worst case scenario
Okay,
because the Grand Canal is quite wide and there are stops on either side. And you
true.
may say, oh, I missed my stop. I'll just get off on the next one. But if the next one is on the other side of the Grand Canal, you could find yourself walking all the way through the city to get to a bridge. So
That's true.
look for the next stop on your side of the Grand
Right,
Canal.
right. Like in this case, like you have San Marcuola, you don't want to get off at Riva de Biasio because they are on opposite side. So,
Or in my case, I was just talking about missing Sensei.
mhm,
Don't get off on San Marcola if you miss San Stai, because then you're
right,
walking until you can get to a bridge to cross Grand Canal.
right, right, exactly. So study the map very carefully in that case. Okay, I think we covered all the questions that we had gotten. And
And appreciate the questions that came through live. That was nice to talk about some of those things.
absolutely. And yes, and following up on this comment that we had on our video, every stop has a sign or an electronic board with the timetable, with the next vaporetto coming, and with the route that is stopping there. Absolutely. Even minor stops have map and timetable at the very least. Yeah. So you will be notified if any disruptions are happening. Okay, keep the questions coming in our comments. Next month, as I was saying, we will be talking about the entrance fee. Everything changed this year, so it will be interesting to to see what's new.
And of course, we will be talking about Biennale for our May episode.
Of course,
That is a big topic. We're definitely going to be covering that one.
100%. Buon viaggio, and we'll see you next month.
Ciao.